Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Cambridge IGCSE First Language English, specifically narrative writing. We'll analyze an excellent example response and break down what makes it so effective. If you're preparing for this exam, this video is for you. Let's get started. First, let's read through the example response together. The stranger in the fog. The fog curled around the deserted street, swallowing everything in its path. Alex pulled his coat tighter and quickened his pace. The street lights flickered, casting weak, shivering glows on the pavement. It was too quiet. He had walked this route home 100 times, but tonight, something felt different. The usual hum of the city had vanished, replaced by an eerie stillness. Even his footsteps seemed muted by the fog. Then he heard it. A second set of footsteps. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He stopped. So did the footsteps. His heart pounded. He turned his head slowly, scanning the mist behind him. Nothing. A cold chill crept down his spine. He took another step. The footsteps followed. Faster this time. He spun around, eyes darting through the fog. A shadow shifted near the street lamp. A figure, tall and unmoving, standing just beyond the light's reach. "Hello." Alex's voice came out unsteady. No response. The figure didn't move. His pulse hammered. He took a step back. The figure stepped forward. Not thinking, Alex turned and ran. His breath came in sharp gasps as he sprinted down the empty street, his footsteps echoing wildly. The fog thickened, blurring the world around him. Then he tripped. Pain shot through his hands and knees as he hit the pavement. He scrambled to his feet, heart hammering. Silence. The footsteps had stopped. Alex turned, panting. The street was empty. The figure was gone. For a moment, he stood frozen, listening. The only sound was the distant hum of the city beyond the fog. He exhaled shakily, forcing a nervous laugh. "Just my imagination," he muttered. Then, right behind him, a whisper. "Are you sure?" Alex whirled around, but there was nothing there. Only the fog. His skin prickled. His fingers curled into fists as he tried to calm himself. Then the street lamp above him flickered. Alex took another step forward. Something grabbed his wrist. He yelped, jerking away, but there was nothing. No hand, no shadow, just the empty air. His wrist burned cold, as if something unseen had gripped it. Panic surged through his chest. He needed to get home. Now. That was intense. Now, let's break it down step by step. What makes this an excellent narrative? We'll analyze it using key IGCSE assessment criteria: content, structure, language, and effect. One of the most important aspects of narrative writing is engaging content. This story immediately hooks the reader with a mysterious, eerie setting. The tension builds as Alex realizes he's not alone. There's a clear plot progression, beginning with suspense, rising action with the approaching figure, and climaxing in a chilling twist at the end. For example, the line "the fog curled around the deserted street, swallowing everything in its path," instantly sets a vivid, ominous atmosphere. The moment Alex hears the second set of footsteps, then he heard it, marks a shift in action, drawing the reader in. The final whisper, "Are you sure?" is a perfect cliffhanger that keeps the suspense alive. Now, let's talk about structure. Notice how the story unfolds smoothly? Each paragraph contributes to the growing suspense. The use of short sentences, "then he heard it," and "faster this time," creates a sense of urgency. The variation between short and long paragraphs also helps control the pacing of the story. For instance, the moment Alex trips, "then he tripped," is isolated in a short paragraph, emphasizing the sudden danger. The buildup of action follows a logical sequence: strange sounds, an unsettling presence, a chase, and finally, an eerie encounter. The ending, where the street lamp flickers and something grabs Alex's wrist, his wrist burned cold, as if something unseen had gripped it, leaves the reader with unanswered questions, adding to the narrative's impact. The language in this piece is vivid and atmospheric. Let's look at some standout techniques. Imagery: the opening line, The fog curled around the deserted street, swallowing everything in its path, creates a haunting setting. Sensory details. The reader can feel the cold chill creeping down Alex's spine and hear the muted footsteps in the fog, making the experience immersive. Sentence variation. The mix of long descriptive sentences and abrupt, short ones like, "No response. The figure didn't move," heightens tension. Dialogue. Hello. Alex's voice came out unsteady. This small yet crucial moment emphasizes his fear and makes the story feel more real. All these elements work together to immerse the reader in the scene. Finally, the effect. A great narrative makes the reader feel something. Fear, suspense, curiosity. This story masterfully builds tension, making us as anxious as Alex. The use of repetition. The footsteps followed. Faster this time. Heightens fear. The unpredictability keeps the reader engaged. The line, "Only the fog," at the end reinforces an eerie uncertainty. The biggest impact comes from the final whisper, "Are you sure?" which lingers in the reader's mind long after the story ends. This open-ended conclusion keeps the reader engaged even after finishing the story. So, what can we learn from this response? Let's summarize. Strong atmosphere through imagery and sensory details. Clear structure with rising tension and a climactic ending. Effective language, sentence variation, dialogue, and description. Engaging the reader with suspense and an unforgettable conclusion. If you want to score top marks in your IGCSE narrative writing, focus on these elements. If you found this breakdown helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more writing tips, and drop a comment below with your own spooky story ideas. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.